The Divine Arsonist, A Tale of Awakening. Written and read by Jacob Nordby. Chapter 4. We sat silent for a while. My senses felt magnified. The night was full of earth creature sounds. My eyes grew wide. Suddenly, I was swept up and standing on the spear-like point at the top of the world's tallest mountain. Below me, the rushing energies of every nation on earth swirled and roared along in a ceaseless flood tide. From my vantage point, balanced like a lone watchman in the night sky, the blackness of the entire outer universe became a living pressure. It held me in its magnetic grasp. For all the terrifying vastness pressing in, I was strangely comforted. I was safe, suspended in a powerful, benevolent liquid. Like electric gelatin. The insanity of this sensation filled me with joy. Giddy, the laughing stars cheered me on while I attempted a pirouette. Lucius cleared his throat, and I jolted back into the sturdy camp chair. He glanced at me, and I must have been grinning madly because he chuckled. "You okay?" My voice cracked when I tried to speak. I swallowed and said, "I'm okay, but..." "But what?" he said. I tried to describe the fleeting experience, and he nodded, understanding. "You just brushed the outer garments of who you really are with your fingertips," he said. "I mean, earlier, when you had the surge of emotion, it cleared channels of perception. It's common to see or feel things differently for a while." "So, is this the way you feel all the time?" He laughed. "Oh, that's not even the beginning. Honestly, we don't have time to talk about these things. The reality of everything is so different from your normal perceptions that we could be sidetracked for years or centuries trying to describe the most mundane features of the universe. Because of our timetable, you're going to just have to strap in for the ride and learn through your body as we go. As one of your presidents said, you ain't seen nothing yet." I nodded because I couldn't think of anything relevant to say. He leaned forward with fresh intensity on his face. "As I was saying, you are here on Earth at a critical time. You and all your fellow humans chose to be here now so you could participate in the birthing of a new world. I'll reveal more about this later. I know it sounds strange, just make note of it. The current trouble is that most of the human race is disconnected from their true nature. They have forgotten who they really are." I raised my hand to interrupt him. "You keep saying who you really are as if there's a fact I should already understand. If I'm not who I really am, then who really am I?" "I'm getting there. Hang with me," he said. "As I was saying, the human project is in its final stages of forgetfulness. You have moved away from your natural powers and created a false reality that is complex and terrifying. For example, give me a few things that seem wrong about life on Earth right now." "You mean..." "I mean, what comes to mind that is unjust, sad, depressing, or completely out of balance?" "Oh, well, they're the obvious things like starving children, genocide, poverty, terrorism, and drugs. But those have always been part of the human condition. They're deplorable, but they aren't new." He bowed his head almost to his knees and shook it slowly. Suddenly he was on his feet. Fist clenched, he leaned in close to my face. Our eyes locked, and his gaze held a ferocity that frightened me. When he spoke, his voice vibrated with passion. "Jacob, you listen to me. The time has come when the bloodshed and sorrow of life on your planet can no longer be ignored. You must not regard the pain and death of innocents as usual things. It is time that humanity awakens and remembers their purpose for being. By the way, even though the atrocities you mention are terrible, what's behind them, what allows them to be commonplace in your societies, concerns me more. Those are only symptoms of a larger disease." He paused and straightened to his full height. The fire crackled and sent up sparks behind him. I sat waiting for him to continue. "I chose to visit you on purpose. You live in America. You are following the great dream and working the system. But you're nagged by the knowledge that there should be more to life. You have immersed yourself in the pursuit of wealth. You've built a prison of comfort and affluence. Sometimes imagining a simpler life moves you, but you're stuck. You can't see how this could ever come to pass because of your complacency, your position, and your obligations. You can only hope somehow to outrun the monster you created. And only after you've piled up enough cash to pay all your debts and fuel your luxurious lifestyle, only then will you turn to what you suspect is your true purpose. I'm here to tell you tonight that time has run out on your game. You have dodged the central question and remained asleep for as long as possible. You've reached a decision point. One choice is to go back to your current reality and pretend that you met some lunatic up in the mountains. You'll forget me and go numb again with all your busyness. The other path leads into the unknown, into freedom. If you choose to follow me on it, you will discover who you really are. He stopped speaking abruptly and turned to stir the coals and add more wood to the fire. He sat back down in his chair and propped his boots on an upturned log. A long moment passed, then another. He seemed to have finished his speech, but there were many questions left dangling in the chilly mountain air. The owl hooted in the pine tree overhead. I closed my eyes to consider this strange night and the unsought choices that were now in front of me. Without warning, I was dragged down into heavy sleep that swallowed me like dark velvet infinity.